Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Flying Over 50 at Any Age. I'm Cyrus Webb, joined by my co host, Makeda Smith. You all see her there, the best selling author of the book by that same name. Want to welcome those tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and on Instagram. So glad you guys could be with us today. Going to connect with our friends over on Amazon and get started with our show as well. So if you guys are new to us, for our show, this is our weekly show based on Makeda's book. She has 30 days here. We've been going through them week by week, and we're now live on Amazon Live with Flying Over 50 at Any Age. If you guys are new to us on the Amazon platform, welcome. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You see either here in this corner or down below. You also will see Makeda's book, both in print and the Kindle edition as well. We're excited about this week. It's another great message as we're kicking off a new month. But Makeda, how we doing?
I'm doing fine. Hey, everybody. Hey, Cyrus.
Hello, hello, hello. Natasha, hello to hey Natasha, good to be able to see you. Natasha had a great conversation with you. So glad you and I getting to stay connected. Makeda, I was saying to you, week number 14.
Number 14.
We're moving right along here. So talk to us about, this moment for you. We're almost halfway through. We're beginning a new month here.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about this journey for you as you've been kind of sharing a bit of your life with us in the book.
It feels like I'm slowly going uphill to week 15, and then we're going to go down.
Oh my goodness.
That's what it feels like.
Okay. So what you're saying, next week you'll be able to see the finish line. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, next week you'll be like, oh, I'm like halfway there, and then we can start descending down.
Yeah, it's going to get sadder though. It's going to get
No, I
sadder.
know. I've really kind of gotten used to this. It takes a minute, though. It takes a minute.
I understand it. So, Makeda, let's go back because I had a comment last week on Amazon that
Uh-huh.
someone who was just discovering us, and I always tell people sometimes I forget that people are just now kind of
Oh,
tuning in.
yeah.
Hey, what's this? Talk to us about the book Flying Over 50. Let's talk about the PR version as to why you decided to write this book and what you hope the reader would take away from it.
For the new viewers, Cyrus Webb made me write this book. He always tries to get me to gloss that over, but we're not. It was nowhere in my brain to write a book. Cyrus called me up and said, "You should write a book. It should have pictures in it. It should be affirmations every day because that's what you do on Instagram."
Wow.
And silly me, I said, I do that on social media. That should be easy enough to do. I could fit it in my schedule. And it led me down this rabbit hole because I realized I couldn't just give the readers just an affirmation. I had to give them the source of where the affirmation came from. So I figured I'd make it kind of biographical. And then it just took me all the way down memory lane. And it was just a lot. And I didn't even know that I was going to be here on a public platform sharing my book publicly. I thought it was going to be an intimate journey with just me and the reader.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically, Cyrus conned me.
Okay, Makeda, that's not the PR version I was thinking about. You were gonna, I thought you were gonna say it was just the spirit led me to write this
It
book.
just led me. Cyrus and his web.
The real lady extreme, hello to you as well. Natasha says hello to you as well, Makeda,
Hello,
over on
everybody.
Instagram. So, but you know what I thought has been so interesting. That's why I'm so glad we've been going through this so
Mhm.
seriously, Makeda, and for our audience too. What I as a reader took away from Makeda's book, Flying Over 50 at Any Age, is for one that these messages are universal
Yeah.
for all of us, but also it shows us that no matter what our low point may be, maybe you've dealt with a dangerous relationship, maybe you've dealt with uncertainty in your employment, maybe you've dealt with, to believe in yourself or not, someone betrayed you. Makeda shared all of those and already what we talked about the first 13 days of this that really shows us what we can come on the other side of. Makeda, let's talk about that because I thought about it proverbially as you were talking about next week as we're kind of at week 15, but really each one of these days shows that you've been able to see yourself through a lot of different situations. What has
Yeah.
that been like for you to reflect on?
It's been interesting because I really had to reflect on it. And even in writing the book and even now rereading the book, I have to say it's reaffirming and it's empowering and
Mhm.
it's a reminder because when you think about what you've been through and to like this goes for all of us. I'm sure we've all had like traumas or things we've gone through or experiences that we didn't think we were going to get through, and then you get through them and you move on and you kind of forget about them or they're kind of
Yeah,
buried in your subconscious. But when
yeah,
you go back and like think about them, and then you think about something you're going through now, then you can say, well, if I got through that, I can get through this, which kind of brings us to the chapter we're going to talk about today. See
yeah.
how you tied that in, Cyrus? I'm just like
Exactly.
you.
See, that's what I'm talking. We're right here. We're right here, Makeda. And so, why don't I go ahead and read it? Because
Okay.
Makeda, what I love about this particular chapter is, for one, your vulnerability.
Mm,
And for some people, this would have been too difficult to talk about. It
hmm.
would have been too, for them, they would have allowed ego or pride to keep them
Yeah.
from talking about it. But I love the way that even in this, you're opening up the door. So we're reading day number
Yeah.
14 from Makeda's book. Again, Flying Over 50 at Any Age. Again, you guys can get it here on Amazon in print and the Kindle. The message is, when the lights go out, who you gonna call is the message. 1988 was the year I officially started my PR agency, but I had been freelancing on the side with my own clients while I was fully employed. By 2001 ish, I was on total burnout from hustling around the clock as a busy entertainment industry publicist. I really wanted something else to do, and the universe eventually gave it to me in the form of real estate investing as another business opportunity. A few years after purchasing my first home, I ventured into real estate investing. I studied courses and took a few in person workshops to become familiar with this new territory. I didn't leave public relations and still ran my agency, but real estate became lucrative and reignited my previously burnt out zeal. So I became a real estate investor, property manager, and landlord as well. In under 5 years, I had accrued a nice assemblage of single family homes in several states, a duplex, and two beachfront lots in Mexico. Not bad considering I never even knew buying a house was even within my reach. Everything was heaven until it turned to hell and the Great Recession of 2008 hit, and it hit hard. I was on the first wave of fallouts, and literally, it felt like the ground had been pulled from underneath me. The recession shadowed over my life like an ominous storm wave, and one by one, things began to unravel. My man left me, my tenants stopped paying rent, the real estate market crashed, the IRS audited me, I had to file for bankruptcy, my home was foreclosed on, my cars were repossessed, and oh, I had to rehome my loving Rottweiler. I lost everything. For as bad as it all sounds, and it was, it could have been worse. So I don't retell this story for sympathy. It's a story of resilience and angelic works. Those dark years of my life are peppered with the best memories of angelic acts, support from close friends, and acts of Goddess. The only way to get through hell is to know that no matter what, heaven is on the other side. And how can you quit if you know you are on your way to heaven? The knowing is a deep remembering that many of us forget. Think about something you have gone through that challenged you. In my mind, envision that challenge in the physical realm as a mountain that you are standing on top of. Now look ahead to the next mountain in front of you and prepare to race toward it because you know you can. So I want to talk about this. There's a lot in there, Makeda. What was it like for you hearing it? Talk to me about that.
Again, it took me down memory lane,
Hmm.
and it just really reaffirmed and made me remember how resilient we are.
Hmm.
And I said, I know you're gonna put that photo up. I said, let me get prepared because he's gonna ask me about the photo. There we go. But I think I chose this photo for it because I kind of think symbolically, sometimes when we feel like we're going through hell, we're still buffered by the wings of angels
Mm,
and by the energy of the Most High and by, like, spirits and goodwill that kind of guide us.
mm,
So that's kind of symbolically what that photo was. But
gotcha.
that was literally one of, like, the lowest, hardest points of my life, but so many good things came out of it.
Yeah.
So it's just and it's hard, like when you're going through something, to say be resilient, you'll get through it. There's something good for you on the other side.
Mhm.
And people are always saying, don't stop, don't quit, don't stop, don't quit. But really, don't stop, don't quit. Like,
Mm,
that's it.
yeah. So for myself as a reader, Makeda, when I
Mhm.
was preparing for today, it's so interesting. In my mind, I thought if down but not out is a person, that's what that picture represents for me.
That's a good one. I wish I had came up
Because
with that.
because you may be down, but you're not defeated. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And I think but it's so. I mean, I get so many messages in this. One, the fact that you were willing to take a chance. A lot of people are so comfortable where they are. They're not interested in take. And I've been there myself. I have to be real and say that.
Mhm.
I've been so comfortable before. Like, Cyrus, you want to try? No, I'm good with this. You had found success, quote unquote, in an industry. The fact that you were willing to learn, not just to try to do the crib notes, to really learn something else when it comes to real estate investing. And I mean, that to me is something to be applauded. That's one thing. But then two, the fact that you were able to expand and grow the way you did. Talk to it. Have you been able to really think about that, Makeda, and
Um,
give yourself a pat on the back for what you did to even get to that point?
well, it took several years after that crash, like several years before I could really look back and pat myself on the back, because as I was
Yeah.
going through it, I remember feeling like a total failure to have brought my PR business like so far, and then to emerge into another business and have escalated so far and
Mm-hmm.
accomplished so much, and then to have it all literally snatched from me
Hmm.
um, because of economic circumstances. But
Yeah.
I really felt, for a long time, I felt like a failure, and I felt like it had been my fault, and I felt like maybe I had tried to do too much too fast,
Mm.
and I really beat myself up about it. And then I have failed. Like, I don't enter into any project to fail, and I've never really failed at anything.
Yeah.
And even so that said, that felt like a failure. But now I realize it really wasn't a failure. It was just an experience.
Yeah.
And it's an experience that taught me something. And it's an experience that took me to the next level. And that it took me a while to realize this, but there are really no failures in life. There are only experiences. And we may look at them as successes or failures, but when you take yourself out of duality, they're really just life experiences, and they're part of the journey.
Yeah. Talk to us about the role that your knowing played and when that kicked in. Because you ended this by saying that when we go through something, prepare for the race because you know you can win it. When did that knowing kick in for you again?
Um, You know what, Cyrus, as I was going through, and think I talk about this somewhere in the book. As I was going through my dark night of the soul. I always say I went through my dark night of the soul, but it lasted several years. And the dark night of the soul is when
Mhm.
you go through an experience that that is really traumatic, but it takes you to the next level.
Yeah.
And when I was actually going through this was a time in my life when I really had lost the desire to live and didn't know why I was still on the planet, because another part of me was like, well, I've accomplished everything and I lost everything. So now I can leave the planet. But I couldn't leave the planet because I had daughters. So I had to stick around on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But every single day, I remember when I would wake up in the morning, and it was such drudgery to wake up in the midst of what I perceived as so much failure at that time and so much loss. Um, Literally every morning I would wake up, and two things I would say every time I woke up. The first thing was, and still I rise. So I was channeling the energy of Maya Angelou, and still I rise, no matter what we go through, and still I rise. So I would wake up and go, okay, here we go, and still I rise. And then there was another book I had read, and I can't think of the man's name. It was an older guy, but his affirmation was, you have to tell your brain every day in every way things get better and better. And he said, and even if you don't say that full affirmation, just tell yourself better and better. So I would wake up and I would say, and still I rise, and better and better. And literally that was my prayer every morning when I woke up, and still I rise, and better and better. So no matter how bad I felt, I was feeding my brain with some semblance of positivity that was going to create the foundation to get me through the day.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't, I would just have to say it was an ongoing process to get the lesson that the universe was teaching me. It was an ongoing daily process. It didn't happen overnight.
Yeah. You say in this particular, and it's up on the screen, so I'll just leave it up there. The only way to get through hell is to know that no matter what, heaven is on the other side. And how can you quit if you know you're on your way? I want to talk about that because I think a lot of times, Makeda, our audience can probably relate to this. When you're going through, there's sometimes you just want to feel sorry for yourself.
Mhm,
You don't want to think about, oh, better days are coming. No, you want to just feel it, feel what you're feeling.
mhm.
You want to. So it seems like for you, you were able to acknowledge what you were feeling, but you didn't let that stop you. Can you kind of talk to us what you hope the audience takes away from that when they're going through their dark moments?
Um, I think, well, I think it goes back to my daily affirmations. No matter what you're feeling in terms of loss, drama, and pain, you
Hmm.
got to know that there's another side to that. Like if you're going through hell, then heaven's on the other side.
Hmm.
So part of that, me saying better and better every day, I had to realize that no matter what I physically think or feel, or how victim laden or depressed I I I I am in this moment, I have to know on another level things are getting better and better. So no matter what you're going through, you just have to stay conscious of the opposite side of what you're going through, if that makes any sense, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, it does. It does. NBC Books, hello to you. Good baby to see you guys over there. So I
Hi,
think it's such a great lesson here, Makeda, for all of us. I want to thank you for your openness, for your transparency.
Cyrus.
Um, because to me, this is almost like your Job chapter. We're seeing like with Job, one thing after another was happening, and it was like, what? Okay, what else can there be? As you talked about, you even lost a dog.
I know, right? My dog, that was like, oh my God, my
Yeah,
best friend.
yeah. And then for you to be able to reassess, and you know what it reminded me of when you went through that brokenness after that betrayal in business. It
Mm,
kind of reminds me of that.
yeah.
But it really just shows whether we're talking about something professionally, like that incident, or personally, like in this situation. how we can come out the other side. So I really think that's the big thing. Is that for you one of the big takeaways too?
Yeah, I guess it goes back to again, like when we're going through something, we can acknowledge it as a success or a failure or bad or good. But if we can kind of stay neutral in that experience and realize that it really is just an experience that is going to lead us to the next experience, which is really what life is. The journey of life is experience to experience to experience,
Yeah.
and it's an easier lesson to say than to actually go through, but
Mhm.
that really is one of the biggest lessons of life.
Yeah, such a great point.
Yeah.
Again, everyone, it's message number 14 in Makeda's book. When the lights go out, who you going to call? It's a great reminder when the chips are down, for one, not to give up on yourself, but also to know that you can get out the other side if you don't give up. It's a great reminder. For those of you joining us on Amazon, appreciate the hearts over there. Make sure you guys do get your copy of the book. You can get it in print as well as the Kindle edition there on Amazon. For those joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, you'll find the link there for Amazon to be able to get it for yourself. Makeda, let them know how to stay connected with you.
You can find me across social media at Flying Over 50 and at the Makeda Method. I have websites set up. You can check me there and sign up for my newsletter.
Love it. Makeda, another great time together. Looking forward to our
Bye.
milestone show next week.
Top of the mountain,
That's right.
15 next week.
Top of the mountain. And we invite you guys to join us. And let me say this: if have missed any of our previous segments, make sure you guys come over to our Amazon channel here on Amazon. There you can be able to catch all of the episodes. You can also find them on our social media. If you guys are joining us on Instagram, you'll see the book cover there, Makeda. That way you guys can identify which ones are her show. We make it very easy for you guys there. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you,
Take care.
guys. Blessings. Bye.